G'day Cobbs, Shannon Noel here. Now grab yourself a frothy and tune in to the Burnt Ridge Cast.
Around the world tonight, NASA is warning of 4 more asteroids on our way after recording planet Earth's closest shave ever last month. An SUV-sized rock absolutely sent it 3,000 kilometers above the Pacific. Scientists are reassuring the public that the asteroid wasn't sent by a communist superpower or controlled by 5G.
With AAP forced to turn to crowdfunding and 138 newsrooms closed around the country since the start of 2019, it's great to see Australia's #2 website keeping journalism alive by publishing Reddit threads as news stories.
The Nobel Prize Committee has announced they're just giving them away now after nominating President Donald Trump for a Nobel Peace Prize. The nomination is given in recognition of Trump's historic peace deal between Israel and the United Arab Emirates, despite 3 years ago pissing everybody in the Middle East off by declaring Jerusalem as the capital of Israel.
And bigwigs inside the Russian Orthodox Church are sharing the love, admitting they will be reconsidering blessing Russian nuclear weapons. Apparently the Messiah wasn't so down with war in the Middle East after all.
Local Melbourne man about to snap if one more fucking person living outside the world's strictest lockdown tells him we're all in the same boat.
Stay stronger for longer in space. Scientists have edited the genes of rats to stop them from losing muscle mass in zero gravity, giving hope for all those jacked astronauts we were sending to Mars to fight aliens.
Our record run of 28 consecutive years of economic growth has now officially come to an end. The cause? A once-in-a-century pandemic. The effect? A COVID-19 induced recession.
While it's not going to fix the damage from the coronavirus, there is one sure way to create jobs and stimulate the economy. Legalise bongos. Actually, mandate them. According to the State of Legal Cannabis Markets, an estimated $2.65 billion in revenue was earned from legal cannabis this year. And that number is set to reach a whopping $55.7 billion by 2024. The recession-proof industry, and now essential service, has earned more than $1.3 billion in taxes in California since being legalised in 2014. It's also becoming the US fastest growing job market with an estimated 296,000 pot-related jobs created. I just feel like everything's already fucked. Like everybody's lives has been made exponentially shitter. And there's stories saying that drug use is actually up. Like there's more people smoking pot and stuff anyway. Why not just legalise it, tax it, and put that money back into the economy? Like people are doing it anyway.
I love that they already have statistics on who is getting high at home. Like, there are people getting high at home be like, I'm getting high at home. Not telling you the sources, but I'm doing it. So they're getting stats on who is doing it anyway.
How many people are lying too in those surveys?
Exactly. Who is not? I'm sure they're underestimated. I'm sure there's people that are getting high that are definitely not telling the people who are asking them, I'm not getting high. Well, no way.
What we were saying last night is like, do you want it to be legal? Because then it's just going to be another fucking Kmart, Hungry Jack's corporate-owned industry.
If you've been to the coffee shops and shit overseas, they're fucking dope. Like, you go in there, it's the most chill vibe. Like, I went to Amsterdam with the missus and we landed on a Sunday and woke up and went and had a coffee and breakfast and a doob at a fucking cafe.
And then woke up 2 weeks later.
Yeah. Then we ate mushrooms and went to Van Gogh. But...
a bit fuzzy. Couple nights in prison. Ended up in Morocco.
Yeah. I think it'd be like, because you can get coffee at 7-Eleven, but you can also go to a cafe to get a nice coffee. It'd be like that with weed. They'll sell bush weed at 7-Eleven. But if you want to go to a whiskey bar, they'll sell 7-Eleven bush weed. 7-Eleven, if you're listening to this podcast, get in while the getting's good. Yeah. Bush weed.
Like right now, It's just fucking ridiculous. Just let me smoke.
You gotta look at the
bongos.
numbers of the alcohol industry and the cigarette industry and the gaming industries. I feel like they don't want to divvy up their share of the profits anymore with another drug being legalized. I really think that's a big part of it.
You get kind of conspiracy territory, but like you can, there's so many other uses for it. Like it can be used as a biofuel. It can be used in clothing. Like there are a lot of people who got monopolies on this shit.
I feel like too when it's legalized, people that like wouldn't normally do it would do it. So like you'd be at a dinner party and you could pull out a joint. Because when you're at a party anyway, you pull out a joint, everyone fucking flocks to it. They love it. It's the same, but like people that wouldn't do it are encouraged to do it. And then they realise it's not that bad.
Hey, boy.
Are you crazy? What if the cops come? You're here too?
Yeah, must be weird for you.
Imagine the people who still won't smoke it, like after it's legal.
Yeah.
We'll probably
fucking
know a few
nerds,
of
mate.
them, mate.
They're probably the ones that want to ban it now.
Yeah.
The most Gronk thing I've ever seen was Deputy Prime Minister Michael McCormick wrote an op-ed for the Daily Telly, and it was after
remember that.
ACT legalised it, and he basically blamed the whole road toll on Stones.
What a dopey decision the ACT government has made in legalising cannabis. As the federal minister with overall responsibility for road safety, I cannot for the life of me understand the logic behind this. I put to the ACT government, can you look in the eye those who have lost a family member or a close friend and tell them that their lives are not as important as loosening the noose on dopes who engage in reckless and unconscionable behaviour by drug driving? Rather than roll a joint, they need to roll back this dopey decision. As a father of 3, I want to ensure the roads are as safe as possible, not only for my family, but for every Australian road user. Get off the grass and reverse this reckless decision.
That is the ultimate grabbing at straws statistic, though. Oh, the entire road toll was due to stoners getting in their Toyota Yaris and
Too scared to
putting
drive.
down the road in the 40 k's an hour.
Yeah, most stoners I know ride fucking bicycles anyway. So
Most stoners would be too scared. You'd get up to 30 k's, be like, whoa, we're moving now. Like,
shout out
something's
to
not
all the
right.
stoners. Shout out stoners.
yeah, we love you guys. Here at Burnt Ridge Cast, we love stoners, stoner culture, Rastaman.
Rastaman.
The other major concern by anti-marijuana legalizing activists is the mental health case. So the fears that it's going to lead to increased mental health issues within our community. But I would argue that drugs already contribute a large amount, and there are already programs in place
Here.
to manage mental health.
Like, for all the people that it may affect badly, I reckon, my opinion, it'll help more people.
You do like they do overseas too, and some of the revenue they make from taxing it, they just put towards drug awareness. And it's also controlled. Like, what you're buying, how much you're buying, how much to take, what the effects will be. Whereas if you buy it off the black market, like, it could be good weed, it could be bad weed,
This
it
is
could
the-
be
this is the
spun.
argument.
This
This is the argument for pill testing and legalizing
stopping
recreational
it.
party drugs as well. People are going to keep doing it,
not stopping
whether you like it or not.
Legalize black tar heroin, I say.
People are going to keep pumping that sweet black crackjack into their veins, and only you can stop it, Burnt Ridges, all right? You need to go out in the streets and you need to start confiscating any drugs you see.
Now, a message from our sponsors. Meet Dave. Dave would be an incel if it wasn't for his ability to legally get company from his local classifieds.
Meet Samantha. Samantha likes to abuse prescription medication and white wine at home to kill the boredom before she picks up the kids from school.
Meet Tristan. Tristan likes to chain smoke when he reds, put his whole pay packet through the pokies, down 6 whiskeys, no ice before getting home after work.
Welcome to Australia, the land of gambling, prostitution, prescription drug abuse, alcohol, and cigarette smoking. But don't you dare smoke a fucking joint.
Fucking dog.
This message is brought to you by the Burnt Ridge Podcast.
So we all know that legalising weed will create jobs and get tax. But there's other ways legalising pot will sort of help the economy. One of those is stopping the money that they spend fighting the war on drugs. So that includes the New South Wales intelligent-based and taxpayer-funded drug dogs, which cost a minimum of $1,100 per hour. And also the Institute of Public Affairs Criminal Justice Project estimates a cost of $110,000 to imprison someone for a single year in Australia.
Was that $110,000 per person in Australia?
I wonder
Yeah, per
if,
person, per year.
They would like retroactively release people in jail for weed stuff, because that's only just happening in America after a few years. They're only just starting to be like, oh, actually, you shouldn't be fucking locked up.
Actually, carrying less than an ounce of marijuana is no longer illegal in this state.
Crime is no longer a thing, dog.
I think the attitude in Australia is swinging though, because one of my favourite things to see is when the cops post the like, oh, we raided, like, here's a fucking clip of the shit we got, and it's weed, and everyone just roast them.
Those are great. Yeah.
Wow, doing your job, boys. Well done.
Yeah. And the best is too when they post shitty weed, they're like, oh, we got this off the street.
I would almost argue give the prisoners marijuana as well.
Yeah.
Could you imagine? That would work.
Chill
That would
them out.
work.
Yeah, I think... I'm not necessarily saying they deserve it, but I think
It would
just
be
for-
used as a currency.
And we've said it before too, give them like recording equipment to record sound. Like the Aussie
give
hip
them
hop guy.
a little drum machine and
Yeah.
a microphone.
This
and a
Aussie hip hop
laptop.
guy, Snowy Badman, released an album all over the prison phone. So
Better packing it, start to finish on gang. You see the Aussie panicking, he's harder behind that Benz. They boil that jug and splash it. None of them lads are safe. All of my members active, but who want combat? Batman things you know man's on that. Got out of single management contracts, here we can on drops like cop that.
shout out Snowy Badman, three my G's, three my bros, you know.
You're so cool, mate.
An example of how unreasonable the war on drugs was highlighted with a 60-year-old Guillain-Barré syndrome sufferer who was arrested for treating his own symptoms with cannabis. I caught up with him this week to have a chat.
I suffer from of the residual effects of a disease called Guillain-Barré syndrome, which is quite rare. It attacks the central nervous system, and it's autoimmune, so it's your own immune system attacking everything instead of just hunting out the bad, and you've got an infection. It recognises everything as an enemy. So that it ate all my nerves basically, and I couldn't move, couldn't breathe, couldn't blink my eyes or anything like that.
He said, despite doctors telling him cannabis works, he was regularly forced to take pharmaceutical drugs like opiates.
Opioids, I find that you build up a resistance for starters, so after a while they don't work as well, you need more.
Yep.
And they cause constipation, brain fog. And compared to the cannabis, they don't go to the root cause of the problem. They just mask your pain, and around about 3 hours it's worn off. You've got to take more. And when you get onto the heavier opiates like fentanyl, you're off your head.
Yeah.
You can't think straight. You can't do any projects. You can't play the guitar or anything like that. You're just a zombie.
While doctors can do a training course to prescribe cannabis, many are hesitant, and he experienced this firsthand.
My doctor's another one. She's pretty good. She's written me a couple of good letters, and I've shown her what I make and all that sort of stuff, and she's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But when it comes to the crunch, she's scared. I got some advice off a solicitor to present to my doctor that she can do these courses, that she can be, all doctors can prescribe, and it's part of their career development, that they have to do 110 hours of different courses every year. And a solicitor, not the one that I've got, but another one, told me, tell her about this. And when I told her about it, she's, yeah, I know, but I'm not doing it. You know what her answer was I don't want all them types on my doorstep.
He added, even if you could get access to legal cannabis, it would be too expensive, and he would rather just get it from the black market.
With the legal industrial stuff that they want us to herd us all onto, they allow a certain amount of pesticides and you don't know what strain it is. In Australia, they don't even make FICO,
Yeah.
full extract cannabis oil, which is what my body has to have. You know, they'll just give you some infusion stuff, and I have 2 teaspoons of that at a time, half a dozen times a day, and they expect you to have drops.
Yeah.
And they charge $400 or so for 50 mil.
Yeah.
I use 250 mil per week.
There was one final thing we got to talk about with pot, and that is that how the ACT has decriminalised it. So you can have 50 grams of dried or 150 grams of fresh, and up to 4 plants per household.
That's a lot.
That's heaps.
Like-
And like, you know, how many house plants do people have? You know, like 50?
Exactly.
Like, you just have 50. Like,
Yeah. That could get really out of... I'm sure that's gotten really out of hand.
My uncle said, I'll have 4 plants, but I'll just make them like 18 foot high each.
just towering over the suburb.
I'm not familiar with the growing techniques, but I don't know how big you can get weed plants, but I'm assuming you can get them pretty big if you try hard enough.
There was a band that I follow on Insta posted a photo of a weed plant, like a gigantic one, and it got ruined by some storm in California or some shit. And yeah.
It's heartbreaking.
Yeah. But it was huge, like talking about size. Like it was fucking size of a room.
Like a tree.
A room. Like a bedroom's worth. And it was like, this is our plant. Like they were saying it was one plant. Shout out to Moon Duo.
A haystack of weed.
Well, what a name. The perfect name for a bunch
You'd
of
expect
fucking...
it from a band called Moon Duo.
Wait, Moon Duo smoke weed?
I have a friend living in Canberra, and he finds marijuana now to be such a blasé thing. As you were saying, he's like, well, it's everywhere, man. Like, I don't think Canberra's got weed cafes, or they haven't, like...
Nah, God, no.
Turned it into an interesting...
It's just so the pollies can have a toke between speak time or whatever that fucking...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Talking time.
Talking time. Talking time. What's fucky wacky today?
If they smoke enough weed, it will just be called talkie time eventually.
Talkie time. Now ScoMo, time for talkie time.
Like many of you listeners, we love nostalgia here up at the Burnt Ridge, and we hate it when companies try and do stuff that is new or original. So when we found out that Tony Hawk was re-releasing Pro Skater 1 and 2, we stuck onto that like bare feet on wet grip tape, and we would like to give you guys our 2 cents on how we've been playing the game. There is just something about skateboarding games that, for dudes of all ages, there's something about it. I can't skate for shit, but I just love playing Tony Hawk's for some reason.
I really like trying to do the ridiculous lines, but make them realistic. So, like, I try to do, like, a fat kickflip and then a sick grind, and I try to make it like I'm actually doing this realistic line.
It's a fucking hard game, though. Oh, my God. Trying to get all those goddamn challenges. Like, when you play online against people, and they're also fucking good, it's like, what do you do with your day?
Fucking the creative player also doesn't leave me the customization I like. I like to get really sort of dirt deep in there so I can picture myself doing it. The problem with old games too is how much smaller they are. Like, you don't realise I replayed Resident Evil 2 and 3, and the same with this. Like, now you've got open world, fuck off, whatever, but there it's so small, it's really quick to finish.
There is something I like about that, though, because you know exactly what you're getting. They haven't included, like, DLC, or they haven't included anything like that. It's like, it's just the first 2 games. You know what to do. Like, there is something nice about that in an age where games aren't given to you as a full game anymore.
There are 3 things truly dead and buried in the world. It's Michael Jackson, Pizza Hut's All You Can Eat, and the Australian Associated Press. After shutting up shop this year, we've had to completely rethink where we get our top shelf yarns. This is fresh out of the Mongolia Vice office. Culinary school shooter posts disturbing right-wing manifesto. Study finds strong link between inbreeding and gender reveals. And it's time to cancel Bart Simpson because he's not voiced by a dude. So we're pretty shit at talking about stuff, if you haven't noticed. We're much better at writing it. So go to our website, burntridge.com.au,